I'm back. It's been a long time since I've uploaded anything here on this channel. So for those of you watching, welcome, and thank you for still being here after my hiatus. Now, it has been a long time since I've uploaded a video here on this channel, and I'm gonna do a video coming up very soon about that and about why that is and how I've been fighting with YouTube and all kinds of stuff. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about the Wilson Combat WCP365. I have yet to see an unboxing or any content from any actual people who bought this pistol like I did. This wasn't sent to me, I bought this. And I have yet to see any content around it. And so we're gonna be doing a full series on this Wilson Combat. We'll do a full review coming up in the future in comparison to my other carry guns. However, in this video, I just want to do the unboxing, show you guys what all comes in the case, what the gun looks like, the specs, my very first impressions, and then towards the end, we will discuss the most controversial part about this firearm, because it's a doozy. But let's not waste any more time. Let's jump down and take a look at what comes with the Wilson Combat WCP365. All right, let's take a look at the Wilson Combat WCP365. As you can see, comes in the standard SIG case right there. Decent little case. Flip these levers up, and inside, right from Wilson Combat, this is how it looks, minus the optic. So I actually had this transferred to Royal Range here in Nashville, Tennessee, and I purchased the optic from them, and since I purchased it from them, they installed it for free. That's why it's already on here. We'll talk about the optic later in this video, and there'll be a dedicated video on that, so subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Outside of that, this is exactly what you see. So we get the firearm right here, which just, man, that just looks awesome. And we'll go over specs and stuff here in a minute. We get one magazine with the pinky extension, and the weapon is unloaded. So we get that. We get the original P365 grip with the other magazine. Both of these are 10-round magazines. And there is the original grip module. We also get the original trigger parts, because this one has the action-tuned trigger in it, which comes from Gray Guns. And so that comes right from the factory, and you have all of your original factory parts there. If you'd like to revert it back to stock, you get a sticker and a manual. We get that and a lock. And that is all that is in the box. Now, first up, the thing that is immediately noticeable to me is that the grip on the Wilson Combat, the Wilson Combat grip module, it's definitely thicker. Like, there's more bulging right here. Let's see if I can show that off. Like right in this area right here, if I can get the camera to focus, this is definitely thicker. And if I hold them up side by side, I mean, you can definitely see there is some thickness. I need to measure that. This is just a first impressions video. I will be doing a full review on this. So again, subscribe if you haven't yet. But it definitely makes it significantly more comfortable in the hand. I really like this. This is by far the most comfortable Micro 9 that I've ever held. And in addition to that, the texture on this back section here is so good. It's so aggressive. It's a very similar style to the original texture, but it is way more aggressive. And then that texture is also on the front of the grip right here as well. I also like that there's texture all up here on the top of the grip. I don't know why so many companies are doing this smooth, because it's literally where your support hand is supposed to go. Like, all this right here is where the texture of your support hand comes from. And so I really like that that's all textured. Absolutely drives me nuts that so many people are doing it like this. Now, not only do these slide serrations look awesome, man, are they functional. They are sharp. Like, these are such sharp, like, they kind of dig into your hand a little bit. In a good way. It doesn't cut you, but man, they are very aggressive. Some of the more aggressive ones I've ever used. And I think they look incredible. In addition to that, All of these parts are DLC coating, diamond light coating, which is significantly higher wear resistance coating than whatever the coating is on the SIG, how it comes from the factory. Diamond light coating is kind of widely regarded as one of the best finishes for firearms, and so that's really cool that it's a completely different finish. Apparently, Wilson Combat gets all of these components in from SIG, and it's all unfinished. It's all completely raw, so that way Wilson can do all of their own machining and all of their own stuff in addition to their own finish. You also got some serrations here on the top of the slide that helps cut down on glare. I mean, you can literally see how it cuts down on glare right there in that shot. And straight from the factory comes with suppressor height sights that are a perfect lower 1/3 co-witness. So blacked out rear sight and then a red fiber optic front sight. So I'm sure you're curious what the trigger feels like. Here is the trigger pull. There's a pretty well-defined wall right there. That is your take up and brake. You do have to pull through the wall. It's like slightly a rolling brake, and then here's your reset. Very crisp, aggressive reset. Yeah, that's really good. It's pretty smooth feeling, especially for a polymer pistol. Yeah, and this is obviously not shot. I'll get it out the trigger gauge and we'll see what that pulls at. But that was one of the reasons that I went with this, is I like the idea of a modified trigger, a more polished up trigger right from the factory. Just because you never know with legal situations, if you get into a sticky situation. I've heard some stories of lawyers and prosecutors going after people for modifying their guns. So I feel comfortable leaving this exactly how it sits. I don't feel the need to modify anything whatsoever. This is fantastic. So with the 10-round magazine that has the pinky extension, I have XL size hands or above XL size hands. It is just enough to get my pinky on there, so I feel like I'm actually holding on to it with all 3 fingers, which is incredible because this thing is tiny. So 10 rounds, 3.1 inch barrel. The sight radius is 4.9 inches. The tallest height from here to here is 4.3 inches. The width is 1.1 inches, and I believe it's from the grip here, because the grip right here is actually the thickest part of the whole gun. It is definitely thicker than the slide. Empty weight 18.6 ounces, loaded weight 23.1 ounces. You get 2 10-round mags. It does have a rail right on it, and this was really what made me decide to go with this particular firearm for my carry. Now, we've obviously got to shoot it, we've got to put rounds through it, make sure it's reliable before it actually gets carried. But this seems to be the smallest firearm that's milled direct fit for an optic. That's the other thing. This is the Holosun direct milling, and so there's no adapter plate whatsoever here. It mounts right to it, which keeps it nice and low, and comes with a much better trigger than factory, in addition to the grip just feeling more comfortable and being so much more aggressive. This is not enough to me. I need more than this. But this seemed like just the best thing that I could find to just purchase something and not have to modify it, not have to experiment with different parts, and just purchase it. And I just kind of wanted that for my carry. I'm totally into modifying all sorts of other firearms, but for my EDC, I just kind of wanted to purchase something that I didn't feel I needed to change anything about it. So the optic I've went with is the Holosun HE507K Green X2, and I'll do a whole video on this because this is my first green dot optic. I've always had red dots, and I'm very curious to put some rounds downrange and see how this feels. So that brings us to possibly the most controversial part of this weapon, is the price. So let's talk about it. So first impressions, absolutely amazing. It feels so good in the hand. It's definitely the smallest thing possible to still feel comfortable for my large XL size hands. But man, is this just such a cool, tiny carry package. This is kind of the reason why I went with this is an overall package with a rail so I can mount a light. milled for an optic that holds at least 10 rounds. That is just tiny. Wear this in my swimming trunks to the beach and feel comfortable about it, tiny. I kind of found myself not carrying super often because my Glock 19 it's big, it's heavy. And especially in the hot months here in Tennessee, I just found myself carrying less and less because it was uncomfortable. All you YouTube keyboard warriors out there are gonna be like, oh, man up. If you can't be uncomfortable, don't carry a gun. But it's just the reality of it. Most of us that live in reality, which is just about all of us, except for people who comment on YouTube videos, if we're not comfortable doing something, we're eventually gonna stop doing it. Maybe this is just an excuse to buy another gun. But what I'm telling myself is that this is gonna be the most comfortable, but also most capable thing that I could carry. This strikes the perfect balance to me between comfort and capability. So I've got a holster on the way. We're gonna go to the range. We're gonna put hundreds of rounds through this and make sure it's reliable. But the most controversial part of this is definitely the price. So let's talk about it. Now, this particular Wilson Combat is the Action Tune version, so it has the better trigger in it, and it is milled for the optic. So that's 2 cost upgrades. I had it milled for the Holosun, but the list price on this used to be, I think, $16.99. I did see some video content from a dealer, and it was $16.99. You can't stomach that. That's crazy. I would not have paid that for this gun, even without even having shot it. There's no way I'm paying $1,699 for a Micro 9 that I'm gonna carry every day and beat the snot out of. But Wilson Combat has lowered the price on their website to $1,468. It's still too much money. I'm still not doing it. There's no way. Then over Black Friday, they had it 20% off, and that was down in the $10.50 range. And now we're getting into a place where I'm like, yeah, milled for an optic already comes with suppressor height sights. That's an added cost. The redone trigger, that would be an added cost. I love the way that it looks, and then I would still have bought this grip module even if I bought just a regular P365. And so you get down into the $1,000 ballpark, and it's like, now we're doing something here. Now, unfortunately, I missed that sale because I wasn't ready to pull the trigger on Black Friday. I hadn't yet made up my mind. The Monday after Black Friday, they were still 15% off on the website, and that is still what it is right now. So currently, you can buy this exact gun for $1,247.80. That's still a lot of money for a Micro 9. However, when you go to Wilson Combat's website, if you've never purchased anything from them before, they have the option to sign up to their email list for 10% off anything. I had never bought anything directly from Wilson Combat before, even though I have Wilson Combat products. So sign up to the email list, and now I had an additional 10% off the 15% off price. So that basically took care of the tax for me. So out the door, after tax, after shipping, I paid $1,242.70. And then of course you have to transfer that to an FFL. Every FFL charges a different amount. So is it worth it? Is this tiny little thing worth $1,250? Because that's a premium. That's absolutely a premium. Now, around here in Nashville, the standard P365s seem to go for usually about $559 to $599, depending on where you're looking. So we're talking double. This costs twice as much as the regular P365. Is it worth it? And we're gonna answer that for sure in the review videos coming up, so make sure you subscribe. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram. It's Colt__Daniel on Instagram, and I'll be posting updates there a lot more often than I will here on the YouTube channel. However, there will be a whole series of content coming around this firearm. You know, it's interesting. I love the way the slide looks. The serrations are ridiculous. They're some of the best I've ever felt. Suppressor height sights are not cheap. Milling for an optic is not cheap. And triggers are not cheap. And so if you were gonna do all of this, maybe even minus the slides, the slide cuts, if you were gonna mill it for an optic and you didn't get the optic ready one and you wanted suppressor height sights and you wanted a trigger and then you wanted to buy the grip module, yeah, you're getting real close. You're getting really, really close. But we're gonna answer that in more detail when we get out on the range. For now, I think it's fantastic. It's so comfortable. I really, really dig it. Stay tuned for the actual review. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you all being here. We will have a discussion in the future about how I was fighting with YouTube and why I haven't uploaded videos in a long time. So keep an eye out for that video. But I think that'll do it for today. Thanks again. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.